Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how to do the Midwife blanket, but with the butterfly variation. So I've changed this up. Instead of the regular floret that's in here, I am making a butterfly inset. The rest of it is still the same as the standard. I've also, on this blanket, I've added on a V-stitch border with scallops. And so you don't have to, it's completely optional. You can leave this open grid work as the border too if you prefer. I will be posting, however, the border by itself in another video. That way, whenever you're finished with your blanket, you can come back and it's easy access to just the border. The yarn I'm using today is Karen Simply Soft. And so I really do love this yarn. It is soft. This is the watermelon color. And so whenever we begin this blanket, we plan it in multiples of 16 plus 6 for turning. So each block that has the butterfly in it is 16 stitches, and then you need an additional 6 stitches on the end. You can make this as large or as small as you like. You're just going to take away either a full column or a full row along the top. The blanket that I had made, the white, purple, and pink one, I started out with 118 stitches. I have 7 blocks wide and it's 12 blocks long. All right, so to begin, we're going to make our slip knot. So to do this, you just want to wrap the yarn around, pull it through, right like that. Place it on your hook. You want to make sure that when you're making your slip knot, that the slip, that this yarn right here that's attached to your skein is actually what makes it pull taut. If you pull on this one and that makes it taut, that's the wrong one and your project can actually come undone. So for today's project, I'm doing a sample, and so just to show you guys how to do it. And so I'm gonna make 2 butterfly blocks with it. So I need the multiple of 16 times 2, so 32 plus 6 to turn in. So I'm going to chain 38. So to chain, you yarn over and pull through. I also forgot to tell you that I'm using a 4.5 millimeter hook on this one. The manufacturer suggests a 5. I prefer to go down on this one. Okay, so I've done chain 1, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 3, yarn over, pull through 4, yarn over, pull through 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, and 38. You will hear me count constantly through my videos. It is absolutely necessary for your crochet projects to turn out correctly to count the number of stitches that you have. Make sure that you're not losing or gaining any. So now that we have our foundation chain, like I said, it can be any length that you want. Just add on 16. We are going to double crochet in the 6th loop from the hook. So first we have to find our 6th loop. We don't count the loop that's on the hook. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So this stitch, this little loop right here is the one that we're going to be placing a double crochet into. All right, so I'm to double crochet, and again, these are US terms. I'm going to yarn over and insert through that loop. I'm going to grab the yarn that's on my finger, pull it through. I now have 3 loops on my hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And so this little loop on the end that actually is going to shape into a square, believe it or not, and that's going to be some of the grid work that borders our blanket. All right, so this whole row is a repeat of a double crochet and then a chain 1, so yarn over, pull through, and skip 1, and that's it. So now we've done our double crochet, our chain 1. That means the skip 1, we're going to skip this next loop on our chain, and we're going to double crochet into this next one. So double crochet, chain 1, skip 1, double crochet, chain 1, skip 1, double crochet. Remember, we're skipping that one, so we're going into this next one. Okay, chain 1, and we're going to skip that one. Double crochet, chain 1, skip in this one, double crochet into this one, chain 1, skip 1, double crochet. Chain 1, skip 1, double crochet. And so you'll continue like this on across to the end of your row. If you need to pause the video till you get to the end, that is perfect. Okay, and I'm just still repeating all the way across. Double crochet, chain 1, skip 1. Now when you get to the end, it should end up, I did my last double crochet, my chain 1, and I have 2 stitches down here at the bottom. So I should have 1 to skip and 1 to do that final double crochet into. If you find you do not, go back and try to find your error and pull out and fix it. This blanket is all worked on a pattern. There's squares stacked on, well, rectangles stacked on top of rectangles. And if you're missing stitches or adding stitches, they will definitely be able to tell that they're askew. However, if you are a newbie to crochet, don't let that scare you off. This actually is a very simple pattern, and I think it's actually better for beginners to do rather than just doing a whole blanket out of just double crochets. When you do that, it's really hard to tell a lot of times where your last stitch is, where you should place your first stitch, and this one is really, really obvious where your stitches should go. So you won't have those same issues of having a loose, wiggly side. All right, so whenever we get to the end, this is our row 1. When we get to the end, we need to turn. Before we turn, we always do a chain 4. So yarn over, pull through 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we have 4 chain stitches. Then we're going to just turn our work. Don't take your hook out and like move it around. The way that it's moving the chain right now, just as you moved it through your hands, is perfect. So if we were to take our hook out and twist it back around, then when we worked back down to that end, our stitches would be twisted and it would be hard to work with. All right, so what we're going to do on this row, we're beginning the inside of our butterfly block. And so we're actually going to have 15 double crochets in a row. So we always leave this first open space open, and we work right into that first double crochet. So we're going to yarn over, go into the double crochet, grab the yarn, pull it through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, so number 2 is a little bit different because we have these chain spaces below. We have 2 options. We need to put a space or a stitch for this space, that chain 1. So you can either yarn over and insert and do your stitch inside of the chain, right? And so that can be a little more difficult to kind of wiggle through all of those, especially when you're thinking that you're gonna have over 100 stitches across and you're gonna redo it multiple times. However, most people prefer to yarn over and actually go down into that space. So instead of trying to poke your hook through there and grab it in the right place, it is just easier to go down into the space, come up, grab your yarn, pull it down. You have 3 loops, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. All right, so we can continue on with our double crochets. This is number 3 into that double crochet from the previous row. We're gonna stitch number 4 goes into that space from below, and then into the double crochet. So you can look, and you should be able to start seeing how these stitches line up. So this is the double crochet from the previous row with the double crochet on top. In our space, we have our second crochet, double crochet. On this double crochet, we have our third double crochet. In this space, we have another double crochet. In this space, we have another double crochet. You want to make sure that it is alternating. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6 goes into our space. And we are doing 15 of these straight across. That's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and number 15 should end up inside of the top of the previous double crochet, not a space. If it doesn't, then your count's off. You'll need to go back and adjust that, or you might have had an error on the previous row. You're going to double count that you have 15 double crochets. And so because I'm making 2 butterfly blocks, the next step is I'm going to have to jump from this butterfly block to this one. And to do that, they're always separated by a chain 1, skip 1. So I'm skipping this space here, and I'm going to double crochet into this double crochet right here. So I'm yarned over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. So you should be able to see how there is a gap there, right? And so we want that gap there. If you're still in your regular row, then, or the butterfly box, you definitely don't want a gap just yet on this row. All right. Okay, so there's 1. So now 2 is going to go into the space. As I'm counting, I am making sure that my odd numbers, like 1, 3, 5, all go into a double crochet. My even numbers, 2, 4, 6, 8, they all go into that chain 1 space. So just make sure as you go along, as you're counting, that you're in the correct space. As soon as you're not, then you know that there has been a mistake and you can adjust much quicker. So I am kind of speeding up. If you need to pause and just get those stitches down, that is perfectly fine. Okay, so now we're at the end of our row, and I have a small little knot there from where I rolled it wrong. All right. So at the end of our row, we're going to make another open grid square, right? And that's going to border along the bottom, the top, and the sides. And to do that, once I've got my 15th double crochet, I'm going to chain 1, and then I'm going to double crochet, so yarn over, into the second to the last chain stitch. So whenever I do that, I want to make sure that I grab the V on top. Even our chains have V's, right? And so there's going to be 2 yarns there on my hook. I'm going to grab that yarn and pull it through. So I have 3 loops, grab the yarn, pull it through, grab the yarn, pull it through. And so you can see how it's kind of starting to square up those 2 places on the ends to where there are those open squares. All right, so to turn, I do it like I do every single time. I chain 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then turn my work. So the butterfly pattern is actually worked upside down. So if you're trying to visualize what's becoming of your work, it might be tricky unless you know that it is upside down. So we're going to be doing his long skinny wings first. Okay, so to do that, we're going to do 4 double crochets, 1 in each of these stitches. So double crochet, double crochet, double crochet, double crochet. All right, so yarn over, insert. Remember, I'm skipping that first open space on the edge. Okay, so now that I have my 4 double crochets, 1 in each, you can see how they line up. I'm going to do a chain 7. So chain 7 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. All right, and so now I'm going to skip 7 stitches down here, and on the 8th stitch, that one right there, I'm going to double crochet. It's kind of hard though to count up to 8, so I find it's easier if I count backwards from 4. So the butterfly, the box is symmetrical. So if we have 4 double crochets on this side, then we have to have 4 double crochets right here. So I yarn over, and you can count up to 8 or backwards from 4, whichever you prefer. But it's going to be this one right here. I'm going to insert, grab my yarn, and grab my yarn. So it kind of looks weird now. We have like this big open rectangle. This stitch can be a little troublesome. My best advice is to keep your yarn loose. If your yarn is loose, then it can glide up and down your hook. If you're holding the yarn too tightly, and it can't move up and down, as you move the hook, it's actually going to pull out looser, and your stitch is going to be much looser. I know it kind of seems counterintuitive, but you have to hold it looser for your stitches to be tighter. All right, so now that we have our 4, then our 7, and then our 4. So remember, we're always going to have that count of 15. So 4 plus 7 plus 4 equals 15. To separate our boxes, remember, we're doing a chain 1, skip 1, and jumping over to the next box. So chain 1, skip this space, and we're going to do 4 double crochets again. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, we do our chain 7 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And we're going to do our double crochet down here at the end. Okay, so insert, pull it through, 3 loops, pull it through, pull it through. All right, 3 more double crochets, 1 in each stitch. Okay, and then so for the end, I hope you remember, it is a chain 1, and then we double crochet into that second to last stitch. It's going to be that 3rd chain. Just grab that V, and it is really hard to not grab that bar that's underneath of it. Right, pull it through, and there's our double crochet. So that's what it looks like at the end of round 3. So round 4 is actually just like round 3. So we're going to chain 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're going to turn our work. We're going to do the same exact thing. 4 double crochets in each stitch, a chain 7 across, 4 double crochets, chain 1, skip 1, and continue on with that pattern. All right, so we're going to double crochet into that first 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so now we're chain 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. You want to make sure that your chains aren't too loose or too tight. They will distort your blocks. So just make sure that you just have the same tension as you do with the double crochets. They need to take up the same length as a double crochet. All right, so we're going to double crochet in the top of these 4, 1 in each. One, 2, 3, and 4. We're going to do chain 1, skip 1 to jump across to our next butterfly box. And there's 1 double crochet. Remember, we're just putting 1 double crochet in each stitch of those double crochets from the previous row. Okay, so now we have our chain 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, turn over, insert it into that first double crochet. There's 2, and 3, and 4. Okay, chain 1, and then you're going to double crochet through that 3rd chain from your turning chain, and there we go. Okay, so now for the thumb row. All right, so chain 4 to turn, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And this is where our butterfly really comes together. I know he doesn't look like much now, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to do start the same way. 1, 2, 3, 4 double crochets, 1 in each of those. 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, so in that double crochet where we just put that 4th double crochet, we're actually going to put a 5th double crochet in there. So there's going to be 2 double crochets in this one space. So yarn over, insert. All right, so that gives us 5 double crochets, and that's going to help his wing kind of curve in and be round and not square. All right, so the next thing we do is chain 2, 1, 2. And so now this next stitch is going to form his head and body and pull it all together. And it's a treble, so that means we yarn over twice. So before we even start, we have the 3 loops in our hook. We're going to insert into the middle stitch. It should be the 4th. So 1, 2, 3, 4 is where we're going to insert our hook. Okay, so our hook is going to come up through the back. On top of the hook, you should have your chains, you should have your yarn, and then that stitch. So you're going to grab the yarn, pull it down, pull it through. You have 4 loops on your hook. So now you are going to yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, so in this part, again, the key is to hold your yarn loosely so your stitch is tight and you don't have all of these crazy loops. So since butterflies are symmetrical, we'll do the same thing on each side. So over here, before we did the treble, we did a chain 2. So now we're going to do a chain 2 for this side. And so since we had the 2 double crochets in this most inward stitch, we're going to insert 2 double crochets into this one stitch. So 1 and 2. And then we're going to put 1 double crochet in each of those 3 stitches. All right, and so there's the end of our block. All right, and so whenever you do the Call the Midwife blanket, if you've done one before, you know those first couple rows, it kind of looks wonky, but as you go along, like it straightens itself out. The way that you make the blocks, it helps keep everything else square. So we're done with this block. To get over to this one, we're going to chain 1 and skip 1 to jump over here. We're going to do just like we did before, a double crochet in each one until you get to that last one of the 4, and you're going to put 2 double crochets in it. All right, so there's my 4 double crochets. Number 5 goes in that same stitch. All right, chain 2, and then our big treble that's going to go up and catch 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So I have those 4 loops on my hook. 1, 2, and 3. And 1, 2, chain 2. So you can kind of see like that one, it has a little more of a loop. So I'm going to pull out that treble. I'm going to redo it. You just decide whatever. If that doesn't bother you, then no need. All right, there we go. Okay, so we're going to do the chain 2 to come back up the other side. I'm going to do my 2 doubles into that stitch. Right, and then I have 3 double stitches left. I'm going to put 1 here, and 1 here, 1 in each. Okay, so since I'm at the end, I'm going to chain 1, right, and I'm going to find that 3rd stitch, that 3rd chain, and double crochet into that. Okay, and so now I do 1, 2, 3, 4, and turn. So what is really important to remember is that there will always be 15 stitches in your rows of each butterfly block, right? So we had our solid 15, then we had these 4, then 7, then 4, that's 15. So in this row right here, we had 5. Our chain 2 counted as 2, so that's 7. Our butterfly body should always be number 8. And then 9 and 10 are these 2 chains right here, and then 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. So whenever we do this row, we want to make sure that we still have those 15 stitches. The first 5, obviously, you can tell where they go. 1 in each of the top of those double crochets right there. Right, so we'll go ahead and do those. Yarn over, and remember, still skipping that beginning space. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right, so stitch number 6 is a little different. So it's still a double crochet, but you were going to insert it into his wing space right here. So we yarned over, we're going to insert, come up from underneath it and grab that yarn, pull it down. So you have 3 loops, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. And we're going to put 2 of those in there. So that's the double crochet number 6 and number 7 that go in there like that. So yarn over, insert into that wing space, come up, grab that yarn, pull it down. All right, oh no. All right, so that is number 7. Number 8 will always go right here into the bottom of the butterfly's body. So yarn over and insert into that treble. 9 and 10, right? We're going to yarn over and we're going into that wing space again. I'll go slow again so you can see. Right, we're just going around it. All right, so that's 10. So now we have 5 double crochets left, 1 in each of those. So number 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. All right, so then we're going to do a chain 1 and skip 1 to jump over to this other block, and we're going to do the same exact thing there. All right, so 1 double crochet. Oops. Remember, we're just putting 1 in each of those previous double crochets. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Number 6 and 7 will go into the wing, so yarn over. Okay, number 8 will go into the treble for his body. Mm-hmm. 9 and 10 go into the other wing. Okay, and then we have 5 more double crochets. All right, so at this point, we do our chain 1 and then our double crochet into that 3rd chain. Okay, so then we can lay it down and we can look at it, right? So everything looks nice and pretty even. Like I said, once you add on more blocks, more columns, more rows, it will definitely start to straighten itself out. So I have one more row I'm going to show you, and it's basically just this grid right here, how we're going to continue on. So you can either choose to, if you are going to do a color change, you can choose to do it on this row or on the next after we do one more row of the grid. And so you would start your new color on this solid row right there of the 15 double crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4 to turn. Okay. And so we're going to do a double crochet into that first double crochet, right? Leaving that space open. And if you do add on a border, it will definitely help out. It will pull that out flatter. Okay, so remember our repeat down here was double crochet, chain 1, skip 1. Double crochet, chain 1, skip 1. We're going to do the same exact thing. So double crochet, chain 1, and we're skipping this next stitch right here, and we're going to put a double crochet right here. Chain 1, skip 1. We're going to put another double crochet here. Chain 1, skip 1, another double crochet here. Chain 1, skip this one, another double crochet here. Chain 1, skip 1, another double crochet here. Chain 1, skip 1, another double crochet here. Chain 1, skip 1, another double crochet here. And so one problem that I have all the time, I will forget to do those chain 1s. So I'll get distracted, I'll get up and lay my project down, and then I'll forget if I've done it or not. So one way that you can tell, so you don't make the same mistake, is if we've just finished a double crochet, you should have 2 loops right here on your yarn. All right, so I'm gonna do my chain 1. After you've done your chain 1, you will have only 1 loop on your yarn. So that way you can tell if you've done your chain 1 or not. All right, so we're going to insert it here into that first double crochet to jump over. All right, and so we're going to continue on with double crochet, chain 1, skip 1. The way I like to count it to make sure that this is ending up evenly, and I am counting my chain ones, I count as I go. So this double crochet is 1, chain 1 is 2, the next double crochet, right, so I'm skipping, it's 3, this is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and then our last one, our number 15, should be in that final double crochet. All right, so chain 1, and then count up 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's a number 3, and double crochet into it. Like I said, keep going until you are done, and then check out that other video for the border if you'd like to add it on. All right, thanks so much. Make sure to subscribe.